right, guys, welcome to episode 51 of the Bearzi podcast. Today, I have my buddy Kevin Huang on, who is a content creator and a digital media student. And
Mhm.
Kevin was last on episode 44 of the pod, and
Yep,
he reached out to me and wanted to jump on another podcast. So, what's going on, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm all right, man. We had a super
Yeah.
fun stream yesterday.
Oh yeah, bringing all the drama yesterday.
So we call Kevin the bringer of drama.
Yeah.
And when we first talked, you were thinking about starting a YouTube channel, which I think you did
Mm-hmm.
in January. So
Yep.
how's that been going?
Um, I have like 300 subscribers now. In my first video, I gave myself a goal to hit 100 subs by the end of the year, and we demolished that goal pretty much. Yeah.
Nice, bro. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you specifically want to talk to me about concerning your channel?
Um, so I've kind of like I've been thinking about this for like the past few days, like doing these like commentary videos. Um, I feel like it's kind of going against what I'm trying to preach, like self improvement. Like the first couple of videos, like first 5 videos I made, they were self improvement, and now it's just like me doing these dumb commentary channels or commentary videos just for views. And last night I just like went. Last night I deleted like 40 videos.
Oh, really? From your
Like
channel?
yeah, I deleted like half of my videos. Um, all the dumb commentary videos. Like I was thinking back, like what was the point of doing that? Like what value do I bring?
What were they, the reaction videos?
Yeah, like the reaction videos.
I see.
Yeah,
So you felt like there was no purpose to them or they weren't
yeah,
meaningful to you?
yeah. I was just thinking back, like what value do I bring to like the viewers watching, right? So yeah, and
I see. So instead of
yeah,
doing more reaction videos, you want to focus more on the positive message of
mm-hmm,
self-improvement?
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And part of me, like I'm not gonna lie though, like I just wanted to get views. Like I started off wanting to do self improvement videos, and then like after a few weeks, I just wanted to get views. So I became like this extreme guy, like reacting to a bunch of nonsense, and then clipping it up and put on YouTube Shorts, and they pretty much all of them got like thousands of views, and that comes with a lot of hate and a lot of positive comments. Like this very like polarizing type of situation.
Yeah, well, especially
Yeah,
because of the content that you talk about and you
yeah.
go after a lot of these, I'd call them like soft or weak-minded people, like it's sort
A
of
lot of
like
people from like
the
yeah,
woke
from the
mind.
woke left. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're going to make videos going after those guys, you have to understand the
Yeah.
pushback that you're going to receive is massive, right?
Yeah, I was expecting getting like a lot of hate cuz it's a very controversial thing to talk about. So,
Yeah, however, when you do create videos centered around controversial subjects that are generally polarizing, that's
yeah.
when most people will give you a lot of attention. So that's how you'll
Mhm.
usually garner views.
Yeah.
Whereas self-improvement, it's like there's nothing controversial about saying, "Hey, go to the gym, get healthy, get fit. It'll improve your life." Like you're not going to receive too much pushback on
That's
that, right?
actually like somewhat controversial cuz people will call you like fat phobic if you want to go to the gym.
Oh, that's crazy. That's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
nonsense. That's
Yeah,
complete
that's stupid.
nonsense.
Yeah.
See I don't understand how you can correlate trying to be healthy with
Mhm.
being fat phobic. Just because I want to extend my lifespan, I want to have more energy, I want to
Mhm.
look better, I want to feel better about myself, and I just want to be generally healthy, like less reduce my chances of things like diabetes and cancer and
Mhm.
diseases. Like, how does that correlate to being negative towards overweight people? Like, I don't understand the bridge that they cross to make that correlation.
They they always like talk about like the extremes. Like they'll always bring up like, oh, um, a lot of skinny people want to gain weight, and a lot of like cancer patients want to gain weight. But I'm like, that's like the extreme side of like the, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I was someone who was skinny that wanted to gain weight. So when I
Hmm.
started working out, I was trying to gain mass because I was like 140 pounds.
Yeah, it's gain
But
muscle, not fat.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's like just because I'm trying to improve myself, that doesn't
Hmm.
have anything to do with other people. And then, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like
Yeah.
just me trying to better myself doesn't bring anyone else down. It's not a zero
Yeah.
sum game. Whereas like if you're in a job and you take someone's position, you move up one peg and they fall down a peg. But if I go to the gym, the net benefit to the world is just plus one because I'm just improving myself. Me going
Hmm.
to the gym doesn't like take up a spot you could be using. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't understand the equation there.
I think it just comes from like a place of like jealousy because they're super fat. So and they know they want to be healthy, they want to lose weight, but they're just lazy and they're coming up with like these. They're coming up with like coping mechanisms, and then
Hmm.
they add like phobic, like the fear of phobic to every like word, and they put themselves in like this victim mindset. So
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
yeah.
The fitness one is tough because I understand the sentiment towards, you want to be comfortable in your own body and maybe you don't want to
Hmm.
conform to beauty standards of the Western world. Like, sure, if you love yourself, if you love your body, fine, that's no problem.
Hmm.
But you can't say like being overweight is healthy though, because it's
Yes, not
scientifically
healthy.
incorrect.
Hmm.
Like you can say being overweight or obese is beautiful if that's what you like, sure, like no problem. It's nothing to do with me. But when you
Hmm.
correlate obesity and being overweight with being healthy, I think that's where I draw the line.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't agree with the fat equals healthy. I see it like on social media all the time.
Yeah, it's like I don't understand. Like, see, the world that you're in is very
Hmm.
confusing to me, and I just sort of stay out of it. It's interesting because even though I'm fairly red pilled and I'm in the whole self improvement space as
Hmm.
a man, who I guess you could say we're privileged because we live in North America, right?
Yeah.
However, just because I'm trying to promote all these positive things and there are people out there that maybe feel like, oh, they don't have enough energy or motivation to fix their life or get to the gym or eat healthy. Like that has nothing to do with us. Like we're just trying to promote a
Hmm.
positive message, right?
Hmm.
So I just try to stay away from all that stuff because I feel like it doesn't make any sense.
I want to talk about this like super dark period of getting red pill and self improvement. Like, so like before you started self improvement, you started watching like these like self improvement videos for years before you start to actually take action.
Yeah.
Did you get that, or like you will
Yeah.
watch like these? You will watch self improvement videos for years before you actually start to take action. That was me for like 3 years,
Hmm.
and then you get this, and then you get like I'm gonna talk about video games. Like I'm not gonna lie though. I quit video games literally like 2 days ago. That's why I wanted to get on the podcast and want to talk about video games. What was I saying?
Taking you 3 years to watch self
Oh
improvement
yeah,
before starting.
yeah, yeah. So as you're doing these bad habits, like in the back of your mind, you just feel like shit because you watch these videos talking about, oh, playing video games is bad, fapping is bad for you, porn is bad for you, social media is bad for you, and then you just feel worse and worse, and then you almost get into like this depressive state. You're just like pissed off at yourself all the time. Do you get that? Like before you started the self improvement?
Yeah, it was sort of like when I'd play video games when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
like around your
Mm-hmm.
age. I
Mm-hmm.
do like the typical jump on Call of Duty with the boys, make a
Mm-hmm.
pre-made team of 5 and play until 4 in the morning. And in
Mm-hmm.
the moment, it's extremely fun because you're getting all these dopamine hits, you're
Yeah.
hanging out with people, you're talking on Discord, right? I mean, well,
Mm-hmm.
when I played, it wasn't Discord. Discord didn't
Yeah.
even exist. But it was after when the session ended and you realized you're going to bed and the sun was coming up in an hour. You
Mm-hmm.
feel this level of self hatred, right? You
Mm-hmm.
feel gross. You
Yeah.
just wasted like 8 hours, on Call of Duty or Modern
Yeah, that's
Warfare all night,
easily
right?
like 3 YouTube videos. You could have made 3 YouTube videos in 8 hours, and then instead you just want to spend it on video games. But so I said I recently quit video games. So the last day I played, when I play video games, I usually have like a YouTube video playing in the background, and then this is funny. A Hamza video popped up. It was like, "Why you should quit video games." So as I was playing video games, I was feeling worse and worse about myself. So I'm like, "Nah, I'm just gonna delete my account, unlink it from my email. I'm not gonna play video games again."
What were you playing?
Yeah, I was playing Fortnite.
Oh God, Uh,
Yeah.
now that's a
I don't
super
even like the
addictive.
game. I just play it just to play. I don't even like it. Like
You don't even like it, so why do you
I don't
play?
even like it. I don't know. It's like this Jeffrey brain. I have this like Jeffrey brain and like this Adonis brain constantly fighting each other.
Oh, I
Do you
see.
get that a lot?
Yeah, I do. Not with video games anymore. I
Oh.
get it with basketball. Like right now, the NBA is gearing up to the NBA finals, and pretty much a whole year I've been pretty good with not watching too many games. But this
Hmm.
past week, I watched more basketball games than I have for the entire season. And I think that's my guilty pleasure. And the
Hmm.
problem with watching a basketball game, it's 2.5 hours, right?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you watch the whole game, like it's long.
Hmm.
And then after the game is done, I'm like, man, I could have wrote a script for a new video. I could have wrote a
Hmm.
newsletter. I could have edited some shorts. And then you feel like you just wasted this chance at being productive and making the
Hmm.
right decision. So
Hmm.
for me, the video games has sort of fallen off, and then I always have this addiction for basketball in the back of my
Hmm.
mind.
I haven't watched the NBA in a long time. I just got on like the other day, and these players are getting traded. Like KD is on like a different team now.
Phoenix.
Yeah. Phoenix? Oh, he's in.
Yeah, he's on
Oh, that's
Phoenix.
crazy, bro. The last time I
Mm.
watched, he was on like on the Nets,
Yeah, yeah. He
Brooklyn
he got
Nets.
he was
Yeah,
traded from Brooklyn to Phoenix.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of chaos going on, but yeah, I don't. I try to stay away from watching sports, and definitely not gonna play video games again. It is not good for you. If you're watching this, bro, and if you play video games, you're a loser. Yeah,
Bro, you
unless you're
go hard.
making unless you're making money from like esports or something, then just don't play video games. And I hate like those people that talk about, oh, I'm training Fortnite to become like a professional player. Most likely, you're not going to be a professional player. You're just going to be a loser playing Fortnite every day, wasting your time doing a bunch of nonsense, right? So,
Yeah, the small minority of people who make money off
hmm
of video games is like the 1% of 1% of
hmm
1%. Like
yeah,
that's how
point zero
rare.
zero zero one, yeah.
Yeah, it's so uncommon. And even if you do, say if you become a Twitch streamer or something and
Hmm
you make money playing these games, okay, fine. But how many people are streaming on Twitch Fortnite? There's thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And think about all the hours that they're playing.
hmm
And it's only the very few at the top who are making a living off of the game. It is the way that I see it, it's just like being a professional athlete. Like think
hmm
about how many people grow up playing basketball, maybe they go to college or they're on their high school team and they want to play professionally. Well, in the NBA, there's only what 500 players in the
yeah.
league per season out of 8 billion people. So
hmm
divide 500 by 8 billion. Like look how small those odds are. And I'm not saying it's not possible, but unless you are a true outlier where you are either extremely talented or extremely entertaining, making a career out of playing video games full time or streaming on Twitch is extremely, extremely unlikely.
At least with sports, you're actually like exercising, not just sitting there like controller or keyboard. So,
Hmm. Yeah, it's also like the music industry too, right? Like people that want
hmm
to be musical artists or rap artists or whatever, play some type of instrument. Like it's hard. It's hard
hmm
to get a job or get a role in society where you make a full time income off one of these things that you like to do. It's extremely difficult. And it's, I think the sports and the music stuff, or sports or music road is fine, but the video game path, it's extremely destructive because
Mm-hmm.
playing video games, it doesn't give you any physical benefit that like playing sports would, right? Like if you're
Mm-hmm.
playing football or hockey, at least you're getting a workout. Like at
Yeah, yeah,
least you're
yeah.
being healthy physically. But if you're
Mm-hmm.
sitting in front of your PlayStation for 16 hours a day, that like that's horrible for your health, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then these same people will call you fat phobic for going to the gym.
Yeah, that's why I just ignore that whole lane
Mm-hmm.
on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so irrational, and it doesn't make sense to me. So
Mm-hmm.
I just don't even bother, and I just try to focus on my version of self improvement that I think is beneficial to me and can provide value to other people as well.
Mm-hmm. Going back to like the my YouTube thing, if I cut out all the hours I've spent on video games, that's easily like another 10 YouTube videos. And yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, but also it's interesting because there's something to be said about not being completely obsessed over one thing, because you're a young guy, right? And you also, you want to experience different things in life too. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's good to maybe, maybe you have one day a week where you play some video games, or maybe you want to watch a movie. Like I feel like it's okay if you play games or consume content in moderation, right? I think the danger of video games is when you get addicted to them, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a real danger.
For me, I just can't play. I like whenever I play, it has to be like 8 hours. I can't just play like 1 or 2 hours. And
Okay, so then you're like me. That's a
yeah,
problem that I have with video
yeah,
games,
yeah.
because all of my friends that I'd play PlayStation with,
Mm-hmm.
they could jump on a Call of Duty game and, we'd play our 2 3 hour session, and then they wouldn't play again until the next time we all logged on. Whereas for me, if I played the very next day, I'd want to play again and practice. And so I have like
Mm-hmm.
the obsessive compulsive personality. So for me, trying to balance video games and instant gratification in my life, it just simply doesn't work. So I have to cut it
Mm-hmm.
off completely. But I do know some friends who are able to play in moderation, or maybe they can watch like, one Netflix episode on a Friday night. Whereas me, if I start a series, I want to binge watch the entire thing. I have no self control.
Yeah. Video games is like the last thing I was hanging on to because I pretty much cut out like all the bad habits. I don't watch any like movies, TV shows. I eat pretty healthy. I still work out. Video games was like the last. I don't fap, so
Hmm.
and video games were like the last thing like my soy brain was hanging on to.
I
Yeah.
see the soy brain.
Yeah, the
The
soy brain.
vegans are gonna come after you, bro.
Yeah, I was watching like a podcast. Soy, it's not healthy for you. It lowers your estrogen or it lowers your testosterone, which makes you, as a guy, you want more testosterone. You don't want a lot of estrogen in your body. So, and then it became like a meme. The soy boys.
Yeah, I think soy is fine for women, right? It's a little controversial for men. I
Mhm.
know when I grew up, I was allergic to all milk, so I had to
Mhm.
grow up on soy milk like as a
Mhm.
baby because I was allergic to everything else. And it's funny because my doctor, this is just of course anecdotal, but my doctor told me
Mhm.
like, oh, you're a teen going through adolescence. You should probably stop drinking soy milk because of the stuff you just said, right? And I was like, oh,
Like the
really?
high estrogenic content.
Yeah, like but again, it's also a little controversial because to be fair, I've watched videos of people going through the benefits of soy and how it's kind of like a superfood, and the risks are overstated. But so I'm like, it seems very muddy and confusing. So I'm like, what is like
Mhm.
the real answer here? And I've asked two of my doctors. I've had different doctors throughout the years, and both of them pretty much told me, as a man, you probably don't want to consume too much soy. So I just sort of
Mhm.
listened to a medical professional, and I sort
Mm-hmm.
of stayed away from the internet science, right?
Yeah. Bro science. you you can still have soy like once in a while. I'm not saying to completely cut it out. You can always have it like once in a while.
Yeah, it's interesting
Yeah.
because soybeans, if you look at the nutritional profile of them, like it's pretty amazing. Like it's super nutritious for you.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's like that. Is it good for men? I don't know. Like I've read so many conflicting arguments and studies about it. So
Mm-hmm.
the way that I approach it is that because it's so unclear, it's better off if I just avoid it. So I just pretty much just avoid soy as much as I can. Man,
Okay.
freaking technical difficulties for us today, bro. So annoying. Okay, I think it's good.
Yeah. Yep, it's
Okay,
good.
it's
It's
still
good.
recording.
All
Okay,
right.
so what we were talking about, we're talking about soy.
Yeah, we're talking about soy. Technical difficulty.
Oh my
uh,
gosh. So
so
do you get a lot of pushback from when you criticize people with like the soy boy mindset? Is that where your haters are coming from?
they're my haters are like these people. I would consider them soy boys, but like also a lot of women. They will call me like misogynistic, transphobic, homophobic,
Oh wow.
hypocrite. What else? They'll call you like dick riding, like Andrew Tate or something.
Mm,
um, bunch of these like words that with words with like phobic attitude. Like you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they make every word phobic. I don't know. It's just a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, it's tough because if you are a supporter of
Hmm.
Andrew Tate in any way, you're considered a part of toxic masculinity, right? And
Hmm.
especially now with our society, how everything is so super and hyper sensitive. Like everyone is like so sensitive about every tiny little issue it is, like regardless of rights or skin color or pronouns or religious beliefs, like whatever, like name the thing. Everyone is so sensitive over every little thing.
Hmm.
But I think if you are vocal about, and I've experienced this too, if you are vocal with your support of someone like Andrew Tate, there's a certain percentage of people that will push back against you. And especially being on YouTube, you have to be really aware that the haters are going to come regardless of what you
Hmm.
do, and
Yeah.
their criticism of you, it might not be objective, it could be completely ludicrous, but you still have to understand that they're going to come for you whether you like it or not, right?
Yeah. And these people, they don't even know why they dislike Andrew Tate. Like they don't have a reason.
Mhm.
Like you see those videos of these interviewers going up to people, do you like Andrew Tate? And they'll be like, no. Why don't you like Andrew Tate? And then they just like go into like a bot state of mind, like an NPC state of
NPC.
mind. NPC, yeah.
Mhm.
Stuttering all over the place.
Well, those people are unfortunate because they go with the flow. They go with the
Hmm.
tide. Whatever the mainstream narrative is, they immediately adopt it as their own opinion and mindset,
Hmm.
and then they don't even think about it.
Like they
Like
don't know
for
why. Like
yeah,
they can't come up with a reason why they hate Andrew Tate, or like these people in like the red pill space or quote unquote toxic masculinity manosphere.
yeah, it's unfortunate because a lot of people don't understand the guy completely because you have
Hmm.
to really deep dive into his long form content and podcasts. And to be perfectly honest, the first time I saw Andrew Tate was on like a TikTok, and it was
Hmm.
on an account that it wasn't even his. I don't even think he had a TikTok. But I
Hmm.
was getting all these clips of this guy saying like wild, brash things. And so immediately I had this adverse reaction to him like, wow, this guy seems so crazy. However, I know as a content creator that people take your words out of context in small form clips, a la YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, or
TikTok.
TikToks.
Hmm.
So what I did was I went back and I rewatched all of his long form podcasts. He
Hmm.
had one with Zuby from like 2019, I think. He was on Your Mom's House with Tom Segura.
That
He
one
was
was funny.
Yeah, he was on
Yeah.
one with Patrick Bet David,
Hmm.
and those. British guys from the UK, that old guy and his son. I can't remember what their names are. But, anyways, I went through all of those
Mhm.
podcasts, and eventually I came up with my own opinion of Andrew Tate. However, these quote unquote NPCs, they never did that.
Mhm.
That's why they can never answer that question. Why do you hate Andrew Tate? Well, because they never listened or watched the 3 hour podcast
Mhm.
conversation in full, right?
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate because there's a lot of good things that Andrew Tate says, and I consider myself someone who agrees with maybe 90% of his messaging and 90%
Mhm.
of what he's about. Personally, I disagree with his beliefs, certain beliefs about women and religion, which is fine. And that's just my own personal opinion.
Mhm.
However, the other 90% of his message about being accountable, being strong, being healthy, working out, being fit, like all of these
Mm.
things
Discipline.
it's amazing. It's
Mhm.
amazing advice for people, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I feel the only thing I disagree like with Andrew Tate is doing the whole like webcam thing. Like
Hmm.
he had like webcam. He started like a OnlyFans type of like webcam business, and he made like a lot of money from. That's the only thing I like dislike him about. So
You dislike the actual business, or what about it do you dislike?
I dislike of yeah, like the actual business, like of him doing the business to profit, because it's not
Hmm.
like a moral thing to do.
I see. It's because
Yeah.
he's using the beauty of young girls to take a cut of their
Hmm.
profits from
Hmm.
OnlyFans.
Hmm.
However, I guess a counter argument to that is
You got to do what you got
because
to do to make money, right?
true, but also the women benefited greatly
Hmm.
from
Yeah.
him because he instilled discipline and structure into their life. Whereas their OnlyFans accounts, they might go from making $1,000 a week to 20,000. So now
Hmm.
not only is he benefiting from a business point of view, but those women are actually rich as well
Hmm.
too. So in
Yeah.
one sense, it is beneficial to the woman as well, even though it's kind of creepy, right?
Yeah. And also, it's kind of like contributing to the problem of these losers staying on the internet all day, jerking off to pixels on a screen. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's interesting because he has this message
Hmm.
of don't get addicted to instant gratification, stay away from all this like stupid nonsense. However, but then he perpetuates this business model of cam girls, and he's targeting those weak-minded men, right? So on one hand he's trying to support men to be strong, don't fall to temptation, but also his business model is like, here's a bunch of girls, do this, donate, right? It's like they kind of contradict one another, right?
Yeah, that was like years ago. I don't think he still do like the business. I think he stopped doing it, but it was like years ago. So
Yeah, that's true. And I know
yeah.
he's like a super successful
Hmm.
business guy, but also, like, to be fair, this is what people need to talk about. You need to talk about the good things about someone, that the
Hmm.
bad things. Be open-minded to
Hmm.
who this guy is as an individual, instead of just
Hmm.
being, oh, he's a misogynist, he's toxic, I hate him. And then you ask people, why do you hate him? Oh, I don't know, I've just been told to hate him, right? It's like you need to have a real conversation and think your opinion through. Like, your opinion of a person, is it because you've thought it through, you've
Hmm.
listened to what they've had to say, and you disagree with them on a moral standpoint, or are you just going along with CNN or whatever, Fox News, and just being fed a narrative about a guy and just believing it at face value?
Hmm. I've heard that schools are like they're doing like PowerPoints or presentations of saying why Andrew Tate's a bad person. And if you do the hand symbol in school, like this Andrew Tate symbol, you get like
Oh,
suspended or something.
wow, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Jeez,
Hmm.
that's unfortunate.
Hmm.
He's a very conflicting person to talk about, because on one hand I'm extremely supportive, but also on the other, there's a lot of things I disagree with him on. And to be perfectly honest, like, I don't think he would want people to completely follow him and agree with everything he has to say, because I know that I would never want to have a bunch of yes men around me. I don't want people around me that are always just like, yes, 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 kissing my ass, never giving me objective criticism or feedback. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's not what you want
Mm-hmm.
as a man. You want people around you who you can trust, who are honest with you, who are open with you, and can give you and are brave enough to give you feedback when you're wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
so like all these people sort of follow him from a religious standpoint where he's like this cool guy that smokes cigars and says really profound and interesting things that are a little brash, but they do make sense. There's a lot of logic behind the things he says. So they follow him. And they're almost like the exact opposite of those NPCs, where the NPCs completely disagree with him no matter what. And there's like some young, impressionable men who completely agree with him on all levels, no matter what. And I feel like you need to be more balanced, to
Mm-hmm.
have to
Yep.
be somewhere in the middle, right?
Mm. How do you feel about like um the drag queen in Canada? Have you seen that?
Oh, bro,
Yeah.
it's a disaster because I live
Yep.
here, man. I live in
No,
Canada.
you. Yeah. Yeah.
Everything. See, this has always been my standpoint and issue with anything related to sex, gender, belief, religion, whatever. Name the concept.
Mm-hmm.
You can do you, and I don't care. As long as you're not hurting anyone, as long as you're not stealing from anyone, as long as you're not bullying people, whatever, like whatever makes you happy, more power to you. My problem, and this is especially as a parent who has a daughter and a son, is as soon as you force me to agree with your beliefs and you shove them down the throats of young impressionable children, now I have a massive problem. Now it's not just this is your belief and you're keeping it to yourself. Now you're trying to force that on my kids as a parent. And this is where you're going to see massive pushback, not just from men like me, but from parents who love their kids. Because if you're talking about someone that's, let's say, younger than 14, they're extremely impressionable by strangers, right? And your job as a parent is to guide them safely through this world, because the world is extremely dangerous, the world is hard, right? And so all this stuff that's going on in Canada, it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating for me because the government supports this kind of craziness that's
Clown
going
world.
on. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a like I don't know how to even put it into words, because and I've talked to other parents about this type of stuff too, and it's like everyone's outraged. Like there's like
Mm-hmm.
this outrage towards all this stuff as soon as you force ideology onto our kids. Because what about my freedom of expression or my freedom of speech? Now you're forcing us to conform with your beliefs. I don't
Mm-hmm.
force you to do anything, so why should I have to be forced to go
Yeah.
along with
They
your nonsense, right?
they like they'll push this like agenda. Oh, everyone should there's more than two genders or a bunch of nonsense. They'll constantly push it to like young kids and like children in like elementary school are chopping off their body parts just because of the agenda. I guess that's the thing I don't dis. If you're that's the thing I don't disagree. If you're like over 21 and you want to do these like LGBT, I don't care. I don't care. I don't hate you. I'm not transphobic, homophobic. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, like if you're an adult, you should be able to do whatever you want to do.
Mm, yeah.
That's perfectly fine. I have no issue with that.
Even though I don't like agree with what you're doing, but you can do what you want. I really don't care, right?
Mm.
So,
Yeah, I'm actually very supportive of trans people from the point of I know, like throughout my life I've met people where when you meet a girl
mm-hmm,
and their whole life they've kind of been like a tomboy. They play sports with the guys. They're very like they do more masculine things. Like I've seen so many people where you know, maybe there is a young girl out there who feels like she should have been a boy. And I've totally seen that, and vice versa as well. Like you've always seen like a guy who's a little bit more feminine, likes to hang out with the girls, who's more into like hair, makeup, and dolls and stuff. Sure, no problem. I completely support all that stuff. I get it, and I've seen it. My issue with this whole gender pronoun stuff. It's when you identify as a
A
rabbit.
bunny. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and your pronouns are bun and bunny, and now you like to eat carrots. And so, like, as soon as you turn yourself into like some type of animal that's not a human being anymore, now we're in the realm of ridiculousness.
Hmm.
Now I'm not supportive of that because that's just nonsense,
Yeah,
right?
I made a pronoun video. Um, so this guy was like, my pronouns are he, him, bun, bunny, and then I called him the R word, and I got so much hate from that, bro. People are
Mm.
saying I'm transphobic, homophobic. Maybe you should be a decent human being and be nice to other people. And then there's one guy defending me, and he was like, he's not trying to be a human, he's trying to be a bunny. So we shouldn't treat that guy as a human. So
Yeah, like I
yeah,
completely support he, him, her, whatever. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what human beings are. No problem. I support all of that. But it's like you want to identify as a dragon or a cat so you can have a litter box in your washroom. Like that's where I draw the line. I
I think
completely draw the line where people want to be animals or mythical creatures. Like what are we talking about here?
it's a bunch of clown world nonsense. I think these people are they have some sort of like mental illness. Like I'm not trying to be mean or anything. Just maybe they seen something that they shouldn't have seen on the
Hmm.
TV or something. And
I actually think those people do a disservice to the real trans people
yeah,
because I feel like there's a real woman out there who feels like they should have been a man, and there's a
hmm,
real man out there who feels like they should have been a woman, right? And those are the people that deserve this type of stuff, right? I totally get it, but it's the ones that take it too far, right? You want to
mm,
identify as a raccoon, like.
okay. Like I'm not gonna refer you as a raccoon. If you look like a guy, I'm just gonna call you a he.
Mhm.
If you look like a girl, you're a her or she. I'm not gonna call you a rabbit, raccoon, chicken, elephant. It's stupid.
Yeah, and the fact that we're even talking about this or this is
Mm-hmm.
like a mainstream concept,
Mm-hmm.
especially in Canada, shows like how far from reality society has swung. And it's
Mm-hmm.
really unfortunate because again, these extreme people, they do a disservice to the real trans people, right? And they also do a disservice to women. I feel like women get the shortest end of the stick with all this stuff, especially with like biological men that can play sports or use a woman's washroom or go to a woman's prison. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised there's not more pushback from women on this stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And I've also seen like schools are actually kind of like how do I say this? Um, they're having like drag queens come to the school and do like performing like sexual dances. I've seen it like all over the internet. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's like, again, if you want to do that, sure, go ahead. Like, no problem. But I should have the right as a parent to refuse my child to see that. And all
Mm-hmm.
parents should have that
Mm-hmm.
right. Whereas also, all parents should have the right to allow their kids to see that. If you're a parent and you want your kids to be in that environment, that's your decision. No problem. You should be able to do whatever you want to do. You are their legal guardian, and that is your
Mm-hmm.
job. But you can't force me to make up my mind and go along with whatever you think is right. I
Mm-hmm.
get the power to make that decision. But
Mm-hmm.
that's the issue here in Canada because it's being forced. Because the narrative is we need to force this on young kids so that they become more accepting of all these type of people and ideas. Again, it's that word forced. You're being forced to. You're taking the power away from legal guardians and parents to make a decision for their children because we are the ones who are accountable for how they grow up. Like how my daughter grows up and son grows up in society, it's I'm the one who's held accountable, right? Like if they turn out to be some type of crazy person that hates a certain group of people and commits a crime, I did a bad job as a parent raising them. It's all on me, right? At the end of the day, I'm the one who has to make the decision.
Mm-hmm. It's only in the Western like countries where they allow this, but if you go outside of like North America, these type of things, they the other countries, they're not going to tolerate any of these. Like if I go to my parents and I say, mom and dad, my pronouns are cat and bunny, I would get slapped in the face, bro. Like these type of things don't
Uh,
exist like outside of like Canada, US, countries like that. Yeah.
yeah, it's tough because I don't want to be someone who supports some type of hate that
Mhm.
makes someone feel bad. Like this is not what I wanted. I don't want to support hate in any way, right?
Mhm.
So again, I get it. Like there's some people that are just different and they want to be accepted. Like I totally understand that from every single point of view. But the answer is you cannot force other people to believe in something. You can't do that. And that applies to everything. It applies to politics, whether you're left, right, or center. It applies to religion, whether you're Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, whatever, name the religion. It applies to anything in life. Whenever you force people to do something, it never ends up well. And just look at how, we even back in the day forced people where we made alcohol illegal, or you force people to, wear a mask or a vaccine or whatever it is. Whenever you force people to do anything, there's always going to
Mhm.
be a level of pushback, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't like agree with what they're doing, but if you're like an adult and you want to do what you want to do, I mean, go for it. I don't really care. Just my thing is you don't push it to like young children in like elementary school. You
Hmm.
feel me? So,
Yeah, Canada's a tough place. It's
mhm.
because on one side, I'm extremely grateful for what Canada has given me and my family. Like if I, God forbid, fall from my roof or something and break my leg, I can call 911, get an ambulance, take me to the hospital, get a surgery to fix my broken elbow, get a cast, and get no medical bill
Mhm.
and be okay and go back home to my family and be a healthy father, right? Like I'm very grateful for what Canada has given me in a Western society. However, I feel like we're leaning so far to the left where it's getting kind of crazy. And this is coming from a person where I grew up as a liberal. My whole life I was a liberal. Like I've been a liberal like my entire life. Like if you ask me all through my teens and 20s, I was, yeah, I'm pretty left. I'm pretty liberal with everything. And now I am firmly in the center. I'm not left, I'm not right, I'm not liberal, I'm not conservative, I'm nothing. I'm completely in the center. And so I think this is the proper mindset to have because you can look at all things in society from a neutral position. And I don't have
Mhm.
this like preconceived idea where this is my team and I have to support this team, right? And that type of mentality I feel like it's dangerous.
Yeah. It's like that in college too. College where I'm at, it's just filled with woke nonsense. Everyone's like promoting woke ideology, liberalism, like all these like nonsense. And they also promote degeneracy. Like I remember walking out of my room the other day and there were condoms laying on the floor.
Oh,
Yeah. Like
oh man,
college is a
bro.
degenerate, it's filled of degeneracy, woke nonsense. This is why I don't like college, bro.
Yeah, it's interesting because try being a conservative on a college campus.
There's
Like,
maybe like that like 0.001% of people that are conservative in college.
but isn't that interesting? It's like
Yeah.
imagine you can't be someone who's conservative on like college campus or in
Hmm.
IT or in Silicon Valley or in social media companies. You just like can't. And I
Hmm.
feel like, man, that's like a wild, wild place to be.
Hmm. They will always bash you for being conservative.
Yeah, that's and I get it. Like again, I'm not
Hmm.
someone who is conservative. Like I was liberal my entire life. However, you should have be able to have a place where both opinions can coexist. Like you got to have both sides. And whenever you have an institution
Oh,
where
let
it's
me change my battery real quick.
yo, it's one of those days, bro. It's one of those technical difficulty days. Low battery, no video.
Yeah. turn on your camera. All right, there we go. My bad, my bad.
That's all good, man. This podcast is like a
Mm-hmm.
mess full of technical difficulties, but it's okay. I can just edit
Yeah.
it out. Okay, so anyways, let's get off of the crazy woke mind. Let's
Mm-hmm.
go back to YouTube because I feel like we can have a more constructive, positive conversation with the whole self improvement movement. So, what
Yeah.
is going to be the new direction of your channel now?
So, for my YouTube, it's gonna be a lot more like guides that like no fap guides, because I would consider myself pretty good at no fap. I think um, more self improvement like guides and videos that can actually like help people, not just for them to mindlessly consume. You know what I mean?
Hmm. So, are you going to share the self improvement habits that you've used
Mm-hmm.
along your journey that
Mm-hmm.
helped you?
Like actual self improvement videos. No, no more nonsense, stupid reaction videos. I don't know what I was doing. I think I just wanted to get viral. That was like one of the
Hmm.
main motivation. But I feel like it's good for like short term growth, but not good for long term growth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it also depends. Like, what do you really want to do? Like,
Mm-hmm.
if your goal, if the end all be all goal is to grow a YouTube channel, monetize it, make money or whatever, get as many views and subscribers as possible. One of the best things you can do is make reaction videos about controversial subjects because
Mm-hmm.
people love drama, right? People are nosy. They want to know what your business is, what your opinions are, right? And they want to come after you and cause controversy. And by fueling engagement through the form of likes, dislikes, and the comment section, the algorithm blesses those type of
Mm-hmm.
channels. So yeah, like if that is your goal for YouTube, it's definitely a good direction to go in, right?
Yeah. Let me. If you're watching this and you want to be like a successful YouTuber, and you don't want to care about anything else, I'm gonna put you guys on some game. You don't have to. Don't worry about like TubeBuddy, vidIQ tags, type. Don't worry about none of that. It's all a scam. All you have to do is just record reaction videos and react in like a polarizing way, and you'll get so much views, bro. And using YouTube Shorts and TikTok, your channel will blow up. You don't have to worry
Mm,
about like, search engine optimization and tags, description. Don't worry about none of that. It's all a scam. They
mhm.
make you pay like $5.99 for those type of things.
Yeah, all those tools are pretty much
Yeah.
useless. And it even tells you when you upload a YouTube video, it says tags only help you with the misspelling of words.
hmm
That's what it's there for.
I used to watch those videos like back in the day. Like back in when I was young, I had like this gaming channel. I'm pretty sure everyone had one. Um,
Yeah, me too.
so I would look up how to grow on YouTube, and they will tell you, "Oh, use TubeBuddy, at YouTube SEO and trends, and make sure your descriptions are good, titles, thumbnails, YouTube banner, YouTube profile pictures. Don't worry about none of that. I don't even have a good YouTube banner. My YouTube banner just reject the Soy Mind. That- and I'm growing on YouTube, and my profile picture is just like a baby picture of me from years ago. So
Bro, you're funny, man. You make me laugh. You
yeah,
go so hard in the paint.
yeah,
Reject the soy mind.
yeah. Just reject the Soy Mind like a period at the end.
Oh, it's so
Yeah,
funny. Oh my gosh. You know what's interesting about the
yeah,
reaction video type of
yeah.
stuff? I had a couple videos like that did really, really well with,
Mm-hmm.
again, views and engagement. But when you think about it long term, that has that negativity, it doesn't relate to the positive message that I'm trying to spread. So
Mm-hmm.
all those type of videos that I had, I removed them all.
Yeah,
And I noticed you had a video about Sneeko, and I'm looking at it right now, 2,200 views, right?
yeah.
So again, you
That's
talk about a controversial guy, right?
like I'm. I was just not gonna lie. I was just kind of stealing like Sneeko and Andrew Tate kind of for views. Like I
Mm,
like them, but I'm just kind of using like their name for views, which I don't want to do it anymore. It's you know clout chasing. I don't. It's when you do these types of videos, you feel like a loser. Like
mm,
what value do you bring to the subscribers and the viewers watching your videos, right? So
mhm.
that's why I want to switch my content to more like actual self improvement videos. And no, like I'm not gonna do those like top 5 boys to uh top 5 best chest exercise or none of those like clickbait like self improvement videos. Oh, the best no fat timeline benefits. It's stupid.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the other hand, though, the going down the positive road, like
Mm-hmm.
similar to what I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be okay with extremely slow growth
Yeah.
because these type of concepts, there's no drama in it,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's you will help people, which is extremely rewarding, but in terms of analytics, it's extremely slow.
Yeah. I think like if you go this route, it's kind of like slow growth for a long time and then you just get like a massive growth. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
then whereas doing like these reaction videos and being polarizing on the camera, it's kind of like you keep going up, and then once you hit a point, it just comes down. Like you're gonna end up like those YouTubers that have like 1 million subscribers with like 2,000 views.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing too, it's like I don't enjoy the negativity. And I had a video where I was very critical of something Sneeko said and believed, which I still completely disagree with him. He had this one idea that he is above self improvement and he doesn't need self improvement.
Oh,
He
that
did the
was
whole gym thing.
Hamza and Sneeko controversy.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
Controversy.
okay, well,
Yeah.
obviously that doesn't make any sense at all. Like
Yeah.
you're saying you are above self improvement, you don't need to
Yeah.
stretch, you don't need self improvement. Like,
he called stretching gay.
yeah, and that's that's incredibly disingenuous and bad for society because
Hmm.
stretching is one of the most important things you need to do,
Hmm.
especially when you go to the gym. And there's like this stigma attached to stretching that, oh, stretching is gay, like, oh, you laugh at guys who stretch, oh, that's a thing for women. Like, no,
Yeah.
stretching is extremely important. We need
Hmm.
more people to promote the benefits of stretching. It's so good for you. Like, you need to do it before
Hmm.
you work out, after you work out. There's so many benefits. And when
Hmm.
you have someone that's extremely popular, making fun of stretching, you just like perpetuate this negative stigma that's attached to something that's extremely beneficial, right? That was my
Hmm.
issue.
At least he's changed now. He's more into this self improvement type of thing. You know.
Yeah, I actually like the guy. Like, even though I'm
Yeah.
someone, I disagree with a lot of things that some content creators say, or my favorite content creators say or do, but that doesn't change my overall opinion of them as
Hmm.
a whole, right? Like, still am fairly supportive of Sneeko. I like the guy as a creative. I like the guy as a content creator.
Hmm.
Andrew Tate too. Even though I disagree with a lot of the things he says and believes in, I still think overall as a whole his message is generally beneficial and positive,
Mm.
right?
Mm. I want to talk about fasting. Do you still like do fasting?
Yeah, usually I do it Monday to Friday.
Monday, Friday. I right now I'm doing like a 24 intermittent fasting
24
because I
hours?
no 20 like fast for 20 hours and then you eat enough
Oh,
for
so your
because I
eating window is
find
4 hours.
yeah because I find myself like I can't do my work and I can't pay attention in class like after I eat. So
Mm,
I would only eat after all of my classes.
okay, I see.
Yeah, it's because like every time like after you eat, you get this. You feel tired, like you just want to go to sleep. You know, do you get that a lot?
Of course, man. What are you eating?
Yeah.
McDonald's?
No, like even like healthy foods, it makes you tired for some reason. I thought it was like eating bad food would make you tired, but I found that eating healthy food would also make you tired.
Well, you have to think about it. Your body has to use up your energy and
Hmm. Yeah.
resources to digest that food in order to turn it
Hmm.
into energy, right? And
Yeah.
so, especially if you eat like a big meal after, you're you feel tired, you feel sluggish, and if you have to go to
Hmm.
class and study, it's like it's really
Yeah.
hard to pay attention, right?
Hmm. I like to work fasted. Like my productivity is really good when I'm fasted,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the morning. Just you don't consume anything, maybe like coffee or tea, and or just drink water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Mm.
that's what I do. First thing in the morning when I am on my fasting schedule, I just have like this is 2 liter. Oh, wait, no, liters. What is liters in like 64 ounces maybe? I don't know, like a massive water bottle, and then I'll have a large black coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
after that, throughout the morning and afternoon, my energy levels are extremely like balanced and
Mm-hmm.
consistent. And
Yeah.
so I can get like so much stuff done, right?
Yeah. When you, I hate this like when bodybuilders try to um promote this like you have to eat 6 times a day to build muscle.
Hmm.
Like you don't like for me, like I work out, I just eat like two big meals a day within like a 4 hour window. I still make progress.
Hmm.
Mm.
Well, also you have to remember, like, if you're talking about a bodybuilder, their goals are completely different than
Yeah.
us, right? They're
Yeah, I
trying to
get that. I get that. I
optimize
get
for
that.
absolute
Yeah.
mass
Yeah, I
possible,
get
right?
that.
To compete.
Yeah. When I used to like eat every like few hours, my productivity is really bad. Like I can't focus in class, I can't do my work, can't do my homework. So I like to
Mm.
do my work fasted. It makes me more productive. Yeah.
Yeah, not only do you feel better and you have more consistent energy levels, you also save more time from always having to cook your breakfast and then
Mm-hmm.
clean up the dishes and the
Mm-hmm.
pans and try to figure out something for lunch. It also just frees up your time where you can just start your day and not have to
Mm-hmm.
worry about, oh, I got to scramble some eggs and toast some bread. I don't know, whatever you eat in the
Mm.
morning, right?
Mm-hmm. And also like people will also push like, oh, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Like I think it's stupid. Breakfast is not the most important meal of the day.
It's
Like
funny that.
you just wake up and you're start to eat like you haven't done anything productive. Like think about like cavemen back in the day. Like cavemen, they would wake up and then they will spend hours like hunting or gathering food before they start eating. And
Mhm.
I would argue they are way more like healthier than us, right?
Yeah, and also if you think from like a biological
Mm-hmm.
standpoint, we didn't evolve with canned and refrigerated goods. Like back in the day, our ancestors couldn't wake up at 7 in the morning, go to the fridge and eat some food. Like
Yeah.
biologically and naturally, that's not how human beings evolved.
Mm-hmm.
We evolved to go through extreme periods of feast and famine, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you go out, you hunt all day, whatever, you get some food, you bring it back and you share a meal together with people at the end of the night, right? And
Yeah.
I found by trying to imitate a similar schedule where I just fast all throughout the day, I go to work fasted, come home and then have a good meal with my wife and kids, I feel great. I feel
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Energy levels are awesome, mental acuity is on point. I'm super productive and it's just like a
Mm-hmm.
great way to live my life.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast like a few weeks ago and they were talking about like why people like have a lot of belly fat and it's because like when like your body stores like fat around your belly, it's because of like it balances out your body.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you don't want to have like fat on like one arm and then it causes like an imbalance to your body. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it's actually an ingenious way at how our
Mm-hmm.
body stores fat
Mm-hmm.
because it's like the center point of like
Yeah, center point.
gravitational
Mm-hmm.
mass or whatever, where you can hold a tremendous amount of body weight in your core center
Midsection. Yeah.
and you can still move around and do things. Like imagine
Mm-hmm.
if we accumulated body fat on our fingertips, then we'd be useless as human
Yeah.
beings, right?
Yeah. Mm.
I know exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's cool. It's cool how the human body evolves and how it
Yeah.
actually functions. But it's just that saying breakfast is the most important meal of the day. It's like this weird saying that everyone knows or everyone
Yeah.
has heard of. It's common knowledge or it's common sense, whereas it's actually factually incorrect.
Yeah. Like I would like nowadays I would like if I like want to get health advice, I would go to like YouTube. I wouldn't go to like a doctor. I don't know if this
Mm.
is bad. I would go to like a YouTube or like a gym bro. Like they probably have more um like health health advice, like better health advice than like traditional doctors.
Yeah, like just because you're a doctor doesn't mean you know everything. Like I've had doctors before where I ask them for nutritional advice, and usually it's like, "Oh, eat less meat." I'm like, eat less meat? Like, wouldn't you mean eat less sugar or eat less
Yeah,
like
yeah.
why eat less meat? Like the main thing that you want to avoid is you want to eat less sugar, you want to eat less processed foods.
Less
I guess when he
McDonald's
says,
fast food.
yeah, right. So it's
Yeah,
like if you're eating a bunch of like lean beef and I don't know, chicken thighs and salads and greens, like that's the type of diet I eat. I
yeah.
perform really well off of meat and vegetables.
Hmm.
For me, it's like the processed carbohydrates, the grains, the breads,
Bread.
cereals, bagels, the
Hmm.
sugary stuff. It's just like
Yeah,
that's
those
what
foods
kills
are the
me.
worst. It makes you so tired, especially eating carbs like bread. It makes you feel soy.
Bro, you're just crushing
uh,
the soy boys,
yeah,
man. They're gonna come
yeah,
after you.
yeah. They can't come after me. They're slow. They're like fat, and they can't even run a mile.
Oh, you're fat phobic.
They, yeah.
I don't think I have many
Uh,
soy boys in my audience.
yeah, there's a lot of soy haters in my YouTube comments. You'll see like debates, like arguments back and
Hmm.
forth, like people defending me, you know, and people like I don't know why, but people like they care about feelings than facts.
Hmm.
Like
Oh yeah, I
they
remember we were
prioritize
talking
their
about this
feelings
yesterday.
over like the truth. It's just like if you're fat, I'm gonna tell you you're fat. You need to go to the gym, and then they're like, "Oh, my feelings." Oh, I don't care about your feelings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tough truth that some people need to hear, right?
Mhm.
It's hard. Sometimes the truth hurts, but at the
Mhm.
end of the day, it's also the truth. It's not good to hold massive amounts of body weight on your frame. Like
Mhm.
imagine what it's doing to your lower limbs, your knees, your
Mhm.
joints, your ankles. Like it's
Yeah.
not good for you, right? To hold
Yeah.
an excessive amount of weight on your body.
Mhm. I just don't. I don't care about my feelings. If I want to do something, if I feel tired today, I'm still gonna go to the gym, right? Just
Hmm.
because I'm tired doesn't mean that I can't go to the gym. Or I feel like eating McDonald's today, but does it make it right to eat McDonald's? No, you should probably eat healthy. Yeah. So.
Hmm. Yeah, but that's like a mindset thing though. Like a
Mhm.
lot of people, if you don't have that mindset, it's extremely hard for them to resist that double cheeseburger and fries. It's like if
Resist
you
the
don't
soy
have the
mind.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
If their mindset is to always give in, to always seek comfort,
Mhm.
it's so much harder for them to say no because they've never said no in their entire life, right?
Mhm. Yeah. And they always like combat that with, "Oh, it feels good. It feels good." And I would say you'll probably feel better in the future if you go to the gym, eat healthier. You'll
Mhm.
physically feel better instead of mentally feel good, I guess. Strong body is a strong mind. That's
Yeah, but also it's like there's some people they've never worked out a single day in their life, so they have
mhm.
no idea what we're talking about. They've
You
never
don't
had that feeling, right?
it doesn't you don't have to like day one go to the gym and like do like bench press, deadlift, squat. You can just start off with like walking and then jogging, maybe ride a bike, play some sports. You don't have to be like, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Mm.
It's interesting because a lot of these like topics you can talk about in life, they're all pretty like controversial. Like say you talking about politics or religion or your beliefs or whatever you want to talk about. It's always controversial.
Mhm.
However, physical the importance and the benefit of physical exercise and fitness is 100% without a doubt not controversial. It's beneficial
Mhm.
for every single human being who's ever existed up until today and into the future. It is
Mhm.
always going to be beneficial for you. Like human beings are not meant to just sit around all day on a couch and watch Netflix and become overweight and obese. That's not healthy for the human
Yeah, they're
body.
supposed to constantly move. Like that's how our
Hmm.
ancestors, cavemen, worked back in the day. Just constantly move, walk like 10 miles a day to find food and hunt animals.
Hmm. Yeah,
Mm,
like I get it. There's like a lot of things in the news. Like we can debate, we
yeah.
can talk about it, but in my opinion, like fitness, it's undeniable. It's just undeniable. Every single human being needs or should do something. If you it's your choice to avoid your body and just maybe be lazy and sit
Hmm.
down all day. Like sure, that's your choice. You can do that too.
Yeah.
However, you can't say that
You're fat phobic.
yeah, you can't
Yeah.
say that going to the gym isn't healthy because it 100% is. It's
Hmm.
it's beneficial for the human body. It's something
Hmm.
we need. Just like community, right? Human beings are not designed to just be alone and live in a cave. We go
Hmm.
crazy. We need people, we need community, we need a tribe, we need
Yeah.
friends, we need family, we need social interaction, right? We
Yeah.
need to have conversations with one another. It's extremely important for our mind, right? Just like going to the gym is important for our body.
That's one of the things I want to like do with my YouTube. I want to build up a following and start like a community of like-minded people that are on self-improvement, improving themselves, going to the gym. Yeah.
Yeah,
Also like a private community where people pay to get into this community and we can talk and do events, maybe meetups. Yeah.
yeah, that's like a
Yeah.
super cool thing to start, right?
Mhm.
The only thing is like you again, that journey is going to be really slow and might be an
Mhm.
arduous grind as compared
Mhm.
to, reacting to drag queen race videos in Canada, right? Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So,
Mm. Right. Yeah. YouTube almost became like my instant gratification in a way. Like making these reaction videos, it became like an instant gratification because they're easy to make, they're easy to edit. The thumbnail doesn't take too long; they take like 3 minutes. You just download a
mhm.
picture of the like the thumbnail and then put my face over it. Yeah, it became like an instant gratification type of thing to do. But if you start
Yeah, I
making
get it,
like
bro. I get
yeah,
it.
yeah, super easy to make. Like if you guys want to blow up on YouTube, just make reaction videos. It's easy. It's super easy.
Yeah.
Mm,
However, if you kind of go the other way, there are these super rewarding experiences, and this is what I've received. It's like every once in a while, I'll get a comment or I'll get like an email or a
mm-hmm,
DM from someone saying like, "Hey, I watched your video about such and such subject and it really changed my perspective on life. I was in a dark place. It really motivated me to do something positive with my day. I was so
mm-hmm,
depressed at home sitting on my couch doing nothing, and now after seeing your content it's helped me to make a decision to improve my life."
mm,
And when I get emails and messages like that, it's like the best feeling. It's better than
mm-hmm.
any subscriber number that I've gained in the morning. It's better than
Yeah,
any views or watch time. It's like these messages that I receive every once in a while from real human beings. It feels really nice. It's a
it
really
feels
nice feeling to have,
yeah,
like on the inside.
yeah. So when I was doing these reaction videos and during like the kind of blow up period, I would constantly like refresh my YouTube studio. It's like refresh, refresh, refresh.
Mm,
Just it started like affecting my mental health in a way. Like if you don't see your views go up, you'll feel like shit. It's almost like a dopamine rush to refresh the page and then see like, oh, someone subscribed to you. Oh, you gained like 100 views on this YouTube short.
hmm.
Mm,
Yeah, trust me, bro. I do the same thing every
yeah,
morning when I get my coffee. I look at my YouTube studio. Oh, how
yeah,
did I do yesterday in the analytics?
yeah. But
I'm
and
guilty of that as well.
yeah, but deep down, you really don't care about these. Like, how do I say this? I constantly have like a Jeffrey brain and like a Adonis brain fighting each other every single day. And then like my Adonis brain knows that these subscribers, these views, the numbers on the screen, it doesn't matter. What matters is if you help people and you bring value to people, not just seeing a number on the screen go up.
Hmm.
Mm,
Yeah, I have a similar thing as well. Whereas I have this
mhm,
hierarchy of where what my purpose is, what my goals are, and why am I doing
Mm-hmm.
all this YouTube
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Somewhere in the middle, it's like analytics is also very important, but it's not like at the top of the pyramid for me,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like having a message that is authentic and true to me. That's what is important. Like when people watch my videos or they watch my live stream or this
Mm-hmm.
podcast, this is who I am. This is this is Derek in the real world. This is Derek on the internet. This is Derek on a podcast. If you were to meet
Mm-hmm.
me in person, I am exactly the same way as I am now. My voice is
Mm-hmm.
kind of monotone. I'm kind of boring. I can be low energy at times, but that's just who I am. Like it's fine. There's no artificial like enthusiasm about this YouTube.
uh,
Like
yeah.
that's faking it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not being authentic to who I am,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I feel like if you just embrace a person who you are and just, share your authentic self, it is easy for you to keep creating content that is true to who you are because you don't have to
Mm-hmm.
fake anything. I don't have to fake
Yeah.
anything at all anymore, right? I just
Yeah.
stay who I am.
Do you have like a self improvement like pyramid hierarchy type of thing?
Uh, yeah, I've thought about this many times, and my middle blocks they kind of shift on a day to day. The way I
Mm-hmm.
think about it is when I think of a pyramid, I think
Mm-hmm.
of the lower third as like this massive, massive piece, which is your foundation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, that is fitness, without a
Mm-hmm.
doubt. It is physical fitness. That is the foundation for self improvement. That is the foundation for health.
Mm-hmm.
And right above that, the next biggest block is nutrition. The food you eat. That, like, again, put those two things: exercise, be fit, eat good food. That is more than half of the battle. And then for me, the top part of the pyramid with like the lower blocks and like more of the triangles is a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the mental stuff.
Like
Your mental health,
meditation.
yeah, meditation, your mentality, all these types of things. Because you can have the best mental health and like the best mindset possible,
Mm-hmm.
but if your body is a weak dying piece of sick meat, then you can't do anything with it, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like your body is a foundation. Get yourself in a good healthy place where you have a lot of energy, you feel good, and
Mm-hmm.
then you want to work on your mind, your mindset, and
Yep.
improve that as a whole. So for me, that's the way that I view the self-improvement pyramid. Somewhere in the middle, there's like journaling in there, gratitude, meditations in there. For me, cold showers is big. Intermittent fasting is in there as well. Like there's a lot of like little sub habits that go into it. No fap is not a giant part of my pyramid. Maybe it was if I was
My
29
age
or
or
19 instead of
yeah.
30. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So like
mm,
age plays a different in the type of habits that you value, right?
mm. I would for me I would add no fap and sleep to like the
Oh yeah,
foundation.
sleep. Sleep
Yeah,
is
sleep. I
is
think
so
sleep is
very
very
important.
important. Without good sleep, you can't function as a normal human being.
Mm. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
I'm guilty for not having the best sleep. I'm
Hmm.
someone who sleeps like 6 hours a day, I think.
That's not healthy, bro.
Yeah, it's like I don't know what it is. I'm always been someone that just I never can sleep long. Like say I go to bed early,
Hmm.
six and a half hours, I just wake up anyway. Like I'm one of these like 18-hour type days, but also like the 6 hours where I say I sleep is when I lie down on my bed, like I'm out like
Oh,
instantly.
yeah. Mm.
Like I'm out because the 18 hours that I'm doing stuff, I just go and go and go and go. So by the time my head hits the pillow, I'm just exhausted. So my actual sleep is it's really good. Like I sleep
Hmm.
like really good deep sleep. I used to have the Fitbit that would track like the cycles,
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
REM deep light sleep. So I definitely could get more. I have that book on my shelf back there, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. So it has been something that I've
Mm,
been looking into. I've tried melatonin supplements and other type of like sleep herbal tea type of things. But even if I have nothing going on, no schedule, I can sleep in. I can't sleep in. I just always wake up after 6, 7 hours and I wake up like excited to start my day. And I don't
that's
have an
good.
alarm clock. So I know like everyone says you're supposed to get like that 8 hours is like the magic number, but I can never get there. I don't know why. It's just
Mm.
like it's just something that I think that I struggle with.
Yeah, I recently started taping my mouth.
Oh, breathe through your nose.
Yeah, it's like I got. It's called like a medical tape. You know how like doctors used to when they like what do you call it? Like they draw your blood. They use that tape
Oh yeah,
as
that
like a
tape. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, like they have a little cotton pad and then tape. It's kind of like that, but then you just tape it
Hmm.
over your mouth. You wake up feeling refreshed. Your throat is not dry. You don't wake up in the middle of the night. I highly suggest if you're watching this, you should try it.
Mm-hmm.
Start taping your mouth when you sleep. And it
Yeah,
also
that's
helps with
huge.
like your facial structure because you don't want to be like mouth breathing like a soy boy. You don't want to be like
Ah.
mouth breathing like a soy boy. It's not good for your health. It's bad for your teeth. It's bad for your face. Bad for everything, pretty much.
Oh, that's funny, bro. That's
Yeah.
hilarious. Yeah, I've never tried that.
Hmm.
I've never tried the taping my mouth. I see, like my sleep. It's interesting because I've never really had too many issues with it. It's like,
Maybe you're just built different, Derek.
well, I know that because look, definitely more sleep is better for sure, right? But you know how there's some people, they'll sleep, go to bed on like a Saturday, and they have nothing going on Sunday, and they'll sleep until like 10 a.m., 11, like they get like that really deep 10, 11 hours sleep, and they can sleep in. I can't do that even if I try. Like when I wake up, if I try to go back to sleep, I'm up, I'm awake, and that my brain starts thinking about all the things I want to do, and I just feel like it's better that I just get going. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. It's maybe it's like a to my detriment, but I'm not sure.
Mm. I find that reading before you go to sleep, it just helps you fall asleep faster.
Oh, I
Do you
see.
read before you go to sleep?
No, like like when I go to bed, usually I take a shower.
Yeah.
I change, put on my like pajamas or sleep clothes or whatever,
Oh, I hate
lie
those
down,
people
and then
that
done.
I hate those people that don't shower before they go to sleep. You know what I'm
See,
talking
I don't
about? There's a
understand
lot of
that.
people that don't shower before. Like you're disgusting. You walked around, your neighborhood. You're sucking in all the bacteria and all the like the gunk in the world, and then you're just gonna lay in your bed, not take a shower. That's disgusting.
Yeah, I don't get that because most
Yeah,
people, at least most people have told me, they always take a shower after they wake up in the morning. I'm like, I always take a shower before I go to bed because I'm like dirty and sweaty from the
yeah,
day. I want to go in my bed clean. Like
yeah.
I don't know. Like that's I've always taken a shower at night.
Hmm. I take two showers. I work out in the morning and then I shower in the morning, and then take a cold or take a warm shower at night, and then cold shower in the morning.
Hmm. Yeah, see, I'm actually the opposite. I take a cold shower at night. I know that the science and the information is that you want to take a hot shower, especially in Matthew Walker's book. They talk about you want to take a hot shower at night to raise your body temperature. And then after you get out, your body temperature starts to go down, which helps you get to sleep easier.
Hmm.
But for me, I love like a freezing cold shower at night where I'm just like freezing, like I'm super, super cold. I get under the bed sheets and then I'm out like
Yeah, I want to
instantly.
start taking cold showers at night. I hate taking hot showers, even though it feels good. It's kind of like another instant gratification thing. Like taking hot
Mm,
showers. Like it feels good. Like oh, you're showering hot water. As soon as after you're done with the shower, you feel your skin feels like shit.
mm.
Do you ever get like it feels like needles like poking like your whole body? Do you get that?
When you shower?
Like after you shower, like after like a hot or like just when your body temperature raises.
Um, I don't know. My skin is sort of messed because I have like eczema, allergies, and autoimmune issues. So for me, my skin is always like itchy
Mm-hmm.
and it's always irritating me. It's like a cold shower always soothes my skin. So I take my showers are always cold. There's just
Yeah.
always, even in the winter here when it sucks, it's
Uh,
always a cold shower
you,
for
you
me.
you take cold showers in the winter also.
Yeah, like this winter was rough because also
Mm.
my shower's in the basement. Um, so like my house has one, two, three showers. So one for
Mm-hmm.
my wife and kids, one for my wife's dad, then I have one in the basement.
Oh
And my
yeah.
basement, it's freezing. It's
Mm.
and in the winter, oh my god, it's so cold down here. But it's
uh,
like, I don't know, I like it. It works for
mm.
me. It works for me.
Do you ever think about like moving to like a different country, or you just want to stay in Canada your whole life?
So I've thought about this many times. So there's an interesting conflict with living in Canada where we can't move away from the climate. Whereas, say if you are American, right? Say you live
Uh,
in New York, Boston, on the northern East Coast, where you have winter and it sucks. You can move to Florida. You can move to Texas. You can move away from the terrible weather.
mm-hmm.
But in Canada, we can only move east to west, right? And so it's either you cold, cold, you stay cold, unless you move north when you go even colder,
Yeah.
right? So we have no option. There's no options here to move away from the cold. Like the closest we can get is the most southern part of British Columbia near Vancouver, which is I guess close to Seattle. There's like an island called Vancouver Island. It's on the
Oh,
far
oh
west
yeah.
coast, the
Oh
far
yeah, yeah,
far
yeah.
west coast. It's like the most southern point you can go in Canada where the weather is the least cold, I guess you could
Mm,
say.
mm,
So in that sense, I can't really move anywhere for the weather. Now, in terms of other countries,
mm-hmm.
I'm someone who is extremely supportive of some countries like the US and other countries that have a lot less taxes. Canada is brutal when it comes to taxation. It's
I
really, really
think it's
bad.
like that in the U.S. too. Taxes. Like I'm not. I don't know. Like I'm 18, so I don't know like a lot about taxes. But like I've gotten like a fast food job, and when they show me like the little, what do you call them? Like um what do you call
Income
those? Like,
tax?
no, it's not income. They like show you a sheet, and then it
Or
shows your
your
income, and then your tax, all the like deductions from taxes.
like your pay stub or whatever,
Yeah, yeah,
your
pay
pay.
stub, pay stub. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
like income tax, a bunch of like things I don't even know about, like social security tax, that
Mm.
tax, this tax, that tax. They tax you for like the things that you don't even know about.
Yeah, we have many taxes.
Hmm.
Usually it's like you pay income tax on your income. And then
Hmm.
for here, you pay what's called CPP, which is the pension fund. So you pay into, which would be like your version of Social Security. And then you
Oh,
also
okay, okay.
pay into what's usually called EI, which is unemployment or employment insurance. So you pay into the fund where if you lose your job, you can get unemployment. So we all pay towards that. And then also you have different taxes at a state level, whereas California has higher state tax than say Texas, right? So that will
Yeah.
vary. So
Hmm.
there's all kinds of deductions, right?
Mm. So you never thought about moving to like a different country, or
I have. I've
you have?
seriously considered it. It's just there's just a lot of issues. Say you do move countries, right? You have to
Hmm.
go through a visa process.
A
You
lot
have
of
to
hassle.
yeah move your
Yeah.
family, get a job. You're moving away from your current family. So there's a lot of issues with that,
Hmm.
right? And so um like staying where I like I pretty much grew up in on an island. I grew up in Bermuda as a kid, and then
Bermuda, the Bermuda Triangle.
yeah, you know the island in the Caribbean, Bermuda. That's where I grew up.
Oh, I remember like the little Bermuda Triangle where like ships will,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
a real
oh
thing.
yeah, oh it is. It will like this,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ships will disappear or something.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a thing. So that island is
Mhm.
where I grew up, and then I came to
Oh, that's
Canada when I
crazy, bro.
was 5 or whenever you go to kindergarten. And so I've been here pretty much my entire life, right?
Mm,
And so like I'm a citizen and all this type of stuff. And so I have thought about I would love to I remember when I visited Japan, I was really considering moving there. And also when I was younger, I considered moving to Las Vegas when I was deep into like poker. But
oh, Las Vegas is a clown world.
yeah, I've thought about moving before, but again,
Hmm.
it's like if you do switch countries, just leaving your parents, leaving your friends, like it's like such a huge thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm like, you know what, I have it pretty good here. I'll just make the best I can with my life from where I'm at, and maybe I can just do like the 6 month thing where you can stay in Canada for 6 months and you can kind of go anywhere else in the world, right? And you
Oh,
maintain your citizenship and everything. So I think that's the move for me.
yeah. I want to like travel around the world because I don't know. I don't feel like good about like the U.S. and the Western countries because there's a bunch of nonsense. I don't want to stay in a clown world. I want to go to different countries and see because I know like
Hmm.
there's a lot of countries they don't promote degeneracy like the U.S. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all pros and cons, right? It's
Mhm.
also once you leave North America, you see how good we have it here. Like when
Mhm.
I went to Thailand, for example, right? And you go and use a washroom, it's like they have like garden hoses in there. Like that
Oh
it's like
yeah.
I'm like, what is this? It's like this is like crazy. Like there's pros and cons to
Yeah.
everything.
There's pros
I've
and
I've
cons to it.
yeah, I've done a lot of traveling. I've been all throughout Europe. The only place I haven't been to is South America. I haven't been to South America. I've been to Asia, parts of the U.S., Caribbean. It's
Mhm.
pros and cons with everything, right?
Yeah. Um, I thought about like moving to Dubai.
That's
Maybe, but
common
it's
for YouTubers.
yeah, but like, I think it's not a good. You have to like revoke your U.S. citizenship to go to Dubai. I'm like, no, I like my U.S. citizenship, and
Mm.
like Dubai. Number one is really expensive. You know, not a lot of people can move to Dubai. Number two, I've heard that there's like people say like Dubai is like what's the word? I can't think of the word. What's the word? Dubai is very civilized,
Civilized?
or
I've
like
never been.
they have values, like they have families, but like also there's like another. I also seen like there's a lot of prostitutes in Dubai, like from other people
Mm.
I've heard. There's like a bunch of degeneracy in Dubai too. So
Yeah, it's there's never going to be a perfect place, right? But
yeah.
at least in the US, you could try moving different states, right?
Mhm.
Different state laws. There's a lot of like options in the US.
Mhm. Yeah.
If there was one place that I would really consider moving, I would honestly love to live in Texas, for
Texas.
example. Yeah, yeah.
I
Um,
think Texas they don't have like income tax or something
yeah,
like
see,
that.
there's no
Oh,
state tax,
oh, there's no.
right?
Yeah,
There's
that's
no
good.
state tax in Texas, which is kind of cool. And my wife's uncle, he moved from New York to Texas and he just like loves it. And you see all these big podcasters, they just all move to Texas as well, right? And so it's like, as an American person, if I were you, explore your country, right? Explore
Hmm.
the different states that you have because you have a lot of options, right?
Yeah, I used to grow up in New York, and New York is it's a clown world plus ghetto plus degeneracy.
New York City?
Brooklyn.
Oh, the
Yeah,
boroughs.
yeah.
Hmm.
It's just a bunch of like what they call the hood.
Hmm.
it's it's ghetto. It's not safe. Things are expensive. Like I got so last summer I went to New York to visit my grandparents, and like New York they have like those ice cream trucks.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I got an ice cream. One ice cream cost like $8.
That's US. That'd be like
Yeah,
$11 Canadian.
yeah. Like I remember like just a few years ago it was only like $2, and now it's like $8 for like a little ice cream. Like it's good, but like it's not. It shouldn't be $8.
Mm. Yeah, don't worry too much about it, man. You're still young. You
Yeah.
still have lots to explore in
Mm-hmm.
life. You can do your travel, see where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good and bad everywhere, right? But it's interesting because when I think of the states, I've been to California and I've been to New York City, and those are probably my two least favorite places that I've been
Yeah, I
to.
hate when people say, "Oh, I want to go to New York this summer," or "I want to go to New York this fall break." You don't want to go to New York.
Yeah, the population density is out of control. It's just too many people, I feel
Yeah,
like.
there's
I'm just
too many
like,
people, trash everywhere. It smells like pigeon. There's a lot of pigeons in New
Pigeon.
York. Yeah, it smells like shit everywhere. Yeah.
See, we
Yeah.
have the same problem in Toronto.
Mhm.
Downtown Toronto, it's like population dense as hell. I live just
Mhm.
outside of Toronto. So I
Mhm.
live maybe like, I want to say 30, 40 minutes away. Like I can just drive there directly and go to the
Mhm.
downtown core where like the Toronto Raptors play. But like I
Mhm.
have no interest in living in a super overpopulated city.
Mm. I want to talk about so I was talking about this in the live stream yesterday about like dropping out of college
Mm,
and making YouTube work. So like I thought about like dropping out of college if like this YouTube thing takes off, but then I will also imagine I would get a lot of heat from my family because
hmm.
especially they're Asian. So like college is education is the key to be successful, and so that's been like bugging, that's been messing with my mind a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot there. So I had a
Hmm.
friend at my work. He was your age,
Hmm.
and he was thinking about dropping out of college and just doing YouTube.
Hmm.
And he had 200,000 subscribers. No,
That's
180,000 subscribers. And he was making a ton of money on YouTube. And he was thinking about dropping out of college and pursuing YouTube full time. Now, if you get to like a level of success like that, where you're making like a serious income, then I feel like it's definitely a situation or a choice that you might want to consider, right? But for now, as your YouTube channel is still growing and you're still trying to figure it out, I'd probably just wait and see. Wait
yeah.
and
I'm not gonna
see
drop
what
out
happens,
anytime
right?
soon. Maybe I
Mm-hmm.
was thinking if like my YouTube takes off in like 1 or 2 years, I might consider you know the option to drop out of college because college
Mm-hmm.
is so dumb. Like they make you take dumb classes. Like I was looking at the so I was the other day I was scheduling for like my fall 2023 classes. I was looking
Yeah.
through the list. There's like classes about feminism, there's classes about the queer theory. That's like the class name, queer theory.
What is that?
And then there's um gender studies like and then
Hmm.
what else? Um differences between men and women. Um the history behind the LGBTQ. It's a bunch of nonsense class. They make you
I
take
see.
because it's like
But
there's
you
certain
have to take
credit.
them?
Yeah, because like there's
Oh,
different
wow.
credits. Like there's a natural and natural science credit, and then social credits, humanities credits. Like you have
Hmm.
to like take classes from like different topics for my major at least.
Yikes.
Yeah,
That's cool if you want to take those classes. If that's good for the people that want to take them, but like
I just
forcing
think
you to take them, that kind of sucks.
it's a waste of money to
Mm.
take these. Like why would I pay like 50K or 50 grand a year to learn about feminism? Like what?
Trust me, I understand what you're saying, and even
Hmm.
though the advice that I'm giving you contradicts what I did in my life, because I was someone who dropped out, and I feel like it was the best decision I ever made. It comes with extreme hardships
Hmm.
that you'll have to go through, and luckily enough, I was able to endure and make it through those tough times of being a quote unquote loser with like a low paying income and just struggling for years. Like it's tough, like trust me, it's tough. But it's like, again, try not to make a rash decision is what I would
Hmm.
say. Maybe take your time, try to figure out what you want to do, have a discussion with your parents,
Oh,
if you can,
I
right?
kind of like hinted at it with my mom. She's like, "No, you have to finish college. College is important. Education is key. Um,
Mm,
if you don't get a college degree, people will make fun of you." Because like to like Asian parents, college or like getting like a degree in something is more of like a status. It's
yeah,
not
it
about.
is.
It's more about making a lot of money and the status. It's not about the education. It's more about
Hmm.
money and status. So
Yeah, I went through that too as well.
yeah,
Like my mom cried when I dropped out.
yeah.
right? Because she has all of her brothers are computer engineers, and I was supposed to be the next in line. Like, it's trust me, I get it. I totally get it. However, it's like we're also transitioning in a world where university and college is not the only way to get an education,
It's like
right? There's
my
alternatives.
my parents, they don't understand, they don't understand this concept of making money online. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like there's like kids in high school are making so much money just from YouTube or TikTok or drop shipping, all those like online businesses. They don't understand that.
Hmm.
So
I know.
yeah.
Trust me, man. I hear you. And the cool response is be like, "Oh, forget school. School shit. Just do your thing. You know, you can ball out on the internet." Like, trust me, that's like a cool answer to say. But I feel like, again, it's more nuanced. You have to consider all options, right?
hmm
It's like because I don't know. I don't. It's like a tough thing to talk about, right?
I think for the majority of like degrees in college, it's a scam unless you want to be like, I don't know, a doctor, where like a career where you absolutely need a degree, then it's worth it.
Hmm.
But most degrees are scam. They're useless.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like for me as a parent, I guess to give you a perspective, like say if my
hmm
daughter wanted to go to university, if she wanted to go to something, I'd be like, sure.
hmm
Does she have to go? My answer would be no. If you don't want to go, you don't have to go, right?
hmm
So I feel like that for me as a parent, that's going to be the advice that I give to my kids. Like if you found something that you really, really love to do, right? Maybe it's like in law or in medicine and engineering or computers, sure, then I'll 100% support that. If you want to do like economics degree, I'd be like, hey,
That's
if you
dumb.
really want to do this, sure. However, this is probably extremely useless, and this is probably why. And I would try to guide them towards making a good decision. But also, I think it's important to realize like this is not the only way to seek
hmm
education. Like for me, books, podcasts, audiobooks, and YouTube has been my form of self education. This is how I've learned everything in life. I learned nothing from university, right? It was
yeah,
useless.
I don't remember a single thing I've learned from high school.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, yeah, and like my families, like my grandparents and aunts, they always talk about like, oh, this person he got a degree in this college and he got a scholarship and then now he's making like 300K a year, and then they always like bring like they like to compare
mhm,
like me or like their kids to other kids that are more successful, and
mhm.
then I'm like, I guarantee by the time I hit like their age, I'm making more money than them. It gives you like motivation in a way and like a drive to make money.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Trust me, I
yeah,
understand. I completely understand what you're talking about because this
yeah.
is a dynamic that happens in a lot of Asian households
Mm-hmm.
where parents brag to their peers and family about, oh, my son is a doctor. He went to this Ivy League school. Oh, my
Mm-hmm.
daughter is an engineer. She went to this university. There's like this
Oh, the
prestigious like
making so much
bragging, right?
money.
Yeah, but you have to understand for like those older Asian generations, like those things are very, very important. That
mm-hmm.
status is such an important thing. And it's
Mm-hmm.
so I hate it because it's vanity. That's what it's just vanity, right? It's like, oh, you're bragging about, oh, your son has this a degree. Do you care about if he's happy? Like, is he happy with his life?
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't that be way more important? Does he
Mm-hmm.
feel a level of fulfillment from
Mm-hmm.
his life than
I
you being to brag to your friends and family?
Yeah, I see a lot of like kids, like people in my college. They have gray hair. Like you're like 20 years old and you have gray hair already. Like the amount of
Hmm.
I can just like smell the stress. Like
Smell
like
the
they're
stress.
going smell the stress they're going through.
Mm.
Mm.
Also, though, to be fair, one good thing about the Asian household mindset is like if you are into something like law or becoming a doctor or an engineer, university is a great choice for that. If you want to get into
hmm
computer engineering or something
Like
or mechanical
technology.
engineer, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a great
yeah,
choice.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah. I agree. I
100%
agree.
support that, right? Like if and if you're into it too, then damn, perfect. But
hmm
it's when the parent forces it because for them they want to have a child who is successful,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that they can compare their kids to their sister or brother or uncle's kids. Like that's when I feel like it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, because I tell this to my like parents and families all the time. You'll never see like a really successful person that used or have a college degree. Like you look at all the millionaires, they don't have a college degree. Most of them drop out of
Mm.
high school, you know. And I just want to like tell them that education is not the most important thing. It might be for some people if you want to go into like the STEM field, like science, technology,
Yeah,
engineering,
engineering,
math. Yeah, I
mathematics.
think
Yeah,
those
yeah.
college degrees they're really important and they can make you a lot of money. But a
Hmm.
lot of college degrees are bullshit, like gender studies, liberal arts. What?
Yeah, like for me, for example, my goal is entrepreneurial to be an entrepreneur. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's my goal. And so is there like a degree you can get in becoming an entrepreneur at university that will help you? Like no, generally if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to take risk and you
Yeah.
have to create a business and you have to go for it. There's
Mm-hmm.
no like textbook that you can learn from. Even if you take some type of business course, you're going to learn from teachers that have never started a business in their
They still
life.
drive a Honda Civic from like 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's why that "what color is your Bugatti" quote is so infamous, right? It's that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. It's
Yeah.
like if you look at multi-millionaires and billionaires or that are entrepreneurs, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to learn from entrepreneurs. Like
Yeah.
there's no entrepreneur that took the master's degree of entrepreneurship from Berkeley. Like
Yeah.
that the path doesn't exist in the academic
Mm-hmm.
world, right? But if you
Yeah.
are again, like if you want to be in like the STEM type of category of careers, then
Technology. Yeah.
more power to you, right?
Especially like computer science. I think that's a really good degree.
Like
Like
programming and stuff.
programming and like
That's what I
just
was in.
technology like in general. Just people
Hmm.
like when they graduate, like they're making like 200K a year, which is a good amount of money.
Hmm. I hear you.
Yeah.
Anyways, bro, I got to
All right.
wrap up the pod. I got some
All right.
stuff to do. Let's
Okay.
let's shout out all your YouTube, Instagram stuff. Where can people
Um,
find you?
I have a YouTube, so it's at Kevin underscore Huang, KEVIN underscore HUANG. I have an Instagram, but don't follow it because you don't need Instagram. You guys should delete Instagram. It's
Mm.
not good for your mental health. I also have a Rumble. Rumble, I think it's the same like, at KEVIN underscore HUANG. Yeah, follow me on Rumble. Subscribe to me on YouTube. Don't follow me on Instagram because I don't use Instagram. I use it to talk to people.
Hmm.
Yeah, reject the soy mind.
All right, bro.
All right.
Thanks for doing the pod, bro.
Yep.
That was great, and I'll let
All right.
people know where your work is in the description down
All
below.
right. Thank you so
So, all right,
much.
guys, peace.